to give you the different types of retainers, and then we'll go over what works and what doesn't work. Okay? How's that? Is that okay? We good with that? Okay. First of all, do you use credit cards?
Yes.
I got to tell you, for years I didn't use credit cards. They said, whoever it was up there said, oh, that's not professional enough. I love credit cards because I know I'm getting paid, and I know at the end of the case, at least I've been paid, or I've been paid most of it. So I would certainly suggest you using credit cards. If you're dealing with criminal cases, okay, I'm going to suggest basically get paid up all up front. And why? Why do you think we want to get it paid up all up front? Yeah. Okay. If he doesn't pay, what happens if he says, or what happens if a client says, hey, I can't pay you anything up front? You take the case?
No, come back when you have money.
Yeah. And the reason for that is basically?
You get paid a little bit for the work that we're doing.
Yeah. And my observation is basically, if he can't pay you at the beginning, why is he going to pay you at the end? Okay, so be real careful with that. The second reason is, why wouldn't you take the case? Second reason is?
You don't want to get stuck with having work to do where you're really not
Getting paid for it. Yeah, I don't want to do work for nothing unless it's a real close friend, or unless it's like Dave has, a really close client, and it's a small little thing, and you say, I'll do that pro bono for you. And the other issue is basically, if it's a bona fide client and he really wants to process the case, he's going to pay you up front, at least whatever you're saying. So those are the three reasons why you want to get paid as much money up front as you can. The ways the retainers go will usually be by credit card, by borrowing money. Sometimes we have wholly contingent fees. It's not religious or anything. Wholly contingent fees. And I'll give you the case. We had a person come in the other day, and he was a pedestrian, and he was walking across the street, and he gets hit, unfortunately. This poor sad sack gets hit by a car. Goes up in the air, breaks his neck, fractures his patella or kneecap, ends up having about 20 stitches in the forehead. You take that case? Please sign here now. We'll get somebody to get... On any negligence case, personal injury case, anybody do personal injury here? Okay, what are we looking for? There are four things we're really looking for. Well, actually 3 things, but 4 things we're really looking for. And this is how I would evaluate a case. And then there's some surplus type issues we would be looking for. What's your name? Tim.
I do defense though.
Well, what do you think you look, defense, offense would be the same? Injury. Liability.
Policy, I guess, insurance.
That would be superfluous, but that would be one of the issues I would be looking at, and where the action venue would be also. But there are 3 things I always look at a negligence case right away. Liability, injuries, causation, right? Those are the 3 things you really look at. 4th issue would be basically when you're dealing with a car, you'd look at Section 5102 of the insurance law, and you'd say basically, hey, does the person have a serious injury under Licari, right? Does everybody know the Licari case? Okay, guys, you got to learn this, okay? Anything you learn from here, this is the important thing. You have a negligence case, you're referring it out, you want a referral fee, yes, 1/3 referral, okay? You have a case like we were just talking about where the guy goes up in the air, fractures his neck, could be worth $1 million. We found out it was only a $100,000 policy. That's why you're looking at the policy. And he doesn't drive, so I don't have an underinsured or uninsured policy at all, so I can't even attach that. Everybody understand what I'm talking about with that? No? Yes? Maybe? You want to make sure that your clients, all your clients, have a policy that basically insures themselves for whatever they're insuring the entire world for. We all understand that? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, so the situation would be if my client had an insurance policy and he had an underinsurance policy of $1 million, he can go after his own insurance company. Here, he's kind of homeless, and I represented him on a criminal case, and even I made a mistake. I've represented him a number of times. He hasn't paid me, okay? But I have a lien now on this new case. So I'll originally get paid. But what you want to do is you want to look at those factors on personal injury, right? Okay, so we have wholly contingent, we have partial contingency. So I'm sure that, let's see, it was Cliff, I think. I got your name. Some of your cases, you take a certain amount of money up front, and then you take a contingency?
Actually not.
Okay.
My clients have been with me for so long that I know when I bill them, I get paid.
Yeah, I had a situation 2 days ago where I've represented this organization, and they've wanted to give me a percentage, 1/3, and then if we collect, they'll give me an additional 25%. And I'm not real happy about that because I don't know whether or not that person is going to have any funds available. He may decide to go bankrupt and then we lose everything. It's a $600,000 claim, maybe a little bit more, but I'm not certain this guy's going to be able to pay anything, and it becomes naught because he'll end up going bankrupt and then you can't go after him anyhow. You may want to get money through assets of the sale of a business, okay? If the business is going to refinance a house, you may want to get paid during that period of time if there's an agreement. We talked about flat fees. Farming out work is really good, and I can tell you what I do. I do not do any matrimonial or family court work. I think I said that before. I'll emphasize that, okay? I was in family court for probably 5-6 years, and that's about it. I've gone into family court on specific cases. We went in on a terrorism case not too long ago, but a family friend asked me to go in. Complicated mess, but we were able to work it out. He was not convicted of terrorism, or else he was a young kid who was a juvenile, and he could have been, how to put it, if he was going to get a passport, the passport would say basically prior terrorism, and he would have had, every time he went into an airport, they would have looked him over 6 different ways. Luckily, he ended up with an assault case, and we worked it out somewhat. The other way of getting paid may be through bartering. There's a company I belong to that throws some cases out to me, and I take them if I'm not that busy. Or I have my paralegal do it, and we kind of move it along. Time payments, like you had suggested, I forgot your name, I'm sorry.
Obed.
What?
Obed.
Oben? Okay. Time payout sometimes works, but you want a bit of money up front, okay? Sometimes I have a client that I'm representing, actually, who had a strip club, and we were able to convert it into a strip mall, which I thought was a pretty neat idea. He was not doing well, and the property was worth about $250,000, $300,000, and the town wanted him out of the place, and we were able to convert it from one place to 18 units in an area in New York, and the property is now worth about $3 million. So it was a pretty interesting way of dealing with things. So with every crisis, there's an opportunity. There's an equation that I have also. E plus R equals O. Does anybody know that equation?
Event plus response equals outcome.
Man, that's a great, isn't that a great equation? You have an example that you can give?
have the choice on how to react to it or respond to it to get the outcome that you want.
It's a great, great equation. It really is. I had a case where, I'm giving cases, and I'm not trying to give you war stories, but we were at a deposition, okay? And I asked everybody if they wanted water, and we were arguing a bit, the other attorney and I. I didn't particularly like the attorney, nor did my paralegal, nor did some of the other people in the room. And he said, yeah, I'd like some water. I said, okay. He said, yeah, I'd like some water so I could throw it at you. And I could have gotten up and I could have said, yeah, you want to walk outside and do whatever? And I would have liked to, probably. On the other hand, I bit my lip. You see the indentation here. And I said, no, I don't think that's really what you want to do. I said, let's go on and let's be professional. And that's the way I handled it. And we went on. We ended up going into the court a few times saying, he kept on asking all sorts of other things that he wanted. And I said, you're not entitled. And the court kind of ended up saying, yeah, he's really not. If you ever get into this situation, what he wanted to do is he wanted to have all the witnesses of one corporation come in at the same time to listen to the first person who was testifying, and then let everybody listen at the same time. You're not allowed to do that, okay? I don't want the same answers from 6 different individuals from the same corporation. The judge agreed with me, basically, that he could have the witness and one person representing the corporation itself, and that was it. So if you ever get into that situation, be careful with it. Don't let anybody fool you. The other thing you could take as a retainer is part of the action, okay? Part of, unless it's a negligence case, I would suggest you be careful and make sure whatever agreement you have with the individual that you're working with, that it's well spelled out and there's no ethical problems where you're going to be in an uncomfortable position. So please be very careful on that. So, the things that work with reference to billing. Does everybody want to go over this? Like, it looks like some of you going. Everybody okay? Usually I like stopping in between, but apparently they've told me I have to go on for the hour and a half so you guys get out. So we'll go on this.